The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. Ghostober continues.
Yay, Ghostober continues. Hi, Todd.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What are you looking at? What are you doing?
I'm sharing us because I always share us so that everybody is sure that we're on, because we just had those issues with people not getting notified when we go live all of a sudden. But Facebook does that sometimes. It will just do an update and sort of like wipe out some of your notifications.
Right.
So I went through and made sure that everybody knew how to fix them just in case, but I like to share it just to make sure.
It was really nice that you did that. And because I don't know exactly what's going on with that. I just know a lot of people were having problems not getting our notifications, and they reached out to us, and I'm like, let me ask Sandy. She's the technical one.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm really the technical one. I just happen to know you're the technical one. I just happen to know a little more of the social media side.
Right.
Than you, but you're the techie. You're so far. What am I, a -3? So you're the techie.
Well, you were -6 for a while. I think you've actually moved up to -3 when it comes to
the ladder.
Earlier, before the actual podcast, she and Jeanna were talking, and she was trying to tell Jeanna about how, sometimes when you close a door and it doesn't latch, and she said, what did you call it? The little what thing?
The clicker.
The clicker. Yes. Because that's if you go into like a hardware store and you go, I'm looking for a door clicker, they're going to show you the door is basically what's going to happen.
And then your response was hilarious, because I was like, because you go, I'm so glad you got that technical term right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did? Really? You're like, no, you didn't. So
let me say hi to Damon. Betsy's on, Samantha's on, Justin's on, Jason's on. If you're on right now, say hi so we can reach out and say hi to you as well.
Yes.
Tonight, Jeanna Koch is on. We're going to talk a little bit more about her, but this is a podcast. I think it's like 2 months in the making.
It is. We've been talking about Jeanna for quite a while. And Jeanna actually gave us each a free session so that we could see exactly hi, Dawn and Brandy. And so we could see exactly what it was all about. And so we each got our session, and hopefully we'll get to talk a little bit about that tonight. And also just all kinds of cool things with Jeanna, past lives, her process, how she learned about this. It's just going to be a really amazing night. I can't wait.
Yeah. And of course, as we always do when we have a new guest on, we talk about their life journey. Like, how did this come to her? How did she realize that she had gifts? How did she realize this part of her life that had not been shown to her up until that point,
Right. And then, of course, she's not saying hi in the chat tonight because she's actually with us.
Yes.
Your sister, Vicky, is with us tonight.
She seems more calm, doesn't she?
And she has her other glasses on. She's going to yell at me.
So last week, I think the last time we were on with Vicky, she was on. She did a great job on the podcast. And then afterwards, she told us that she was wearing the wrong glasses because she couldn't see us on the little screen that she was looking at. So we're like, just wear the other ones. Well, they don't look as nice. This isn't about looking nice.
They look beautiful, and she's got them on tonight. So not only, you got it. Did you open it yet?
No, I'm going to do that on the podcast tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
every once in a while, I send him just goofy little things that I find. And I send Winston things too. I haven't sent Winston anything in a while, so.
So not that long ago, I get this. Okay. Now, let me just tell a quick story. I grew up in a house with a lot of knickknacks. Okay. My mom had knickknacks all over the place. And when it was Saturday, it was time to clean the house. You didn't dust around the knickknacks. You took all the knickknacks down and you cleaned. And then you put the knickknacks back up.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of knickknacks in my house. So I get a knickknack. And it is a screaming goat. I don't know why I have to have it, but I have one now. So thank you for that.
Yep. You're welcome. I had to get a screaming goat. I just thought they were hilarious.
So anyways, this
I
shows
send him
up.
like the weirdest stuff.
This shows up and I'm like, oh my God, it's another knick-knack, right?
No.
I'm like,
No,
I
it's
don't need knickknacks. Okay.
It's not a knickknack.
Paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Damon says that he thinks I sent you a cheese scepter. Wouldn't that be great if I sent you a cheese scepter?
That would be more along. Scepter.
That would be more Damon's.
Yeah.
Thing though.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh God. So everybody knows I like Bob Ross, right?
I know. The Bob Father. I love it. I got you that actually like a couple of months ago, and then I kept forgetting to mail it. And Sue's happy to see you.
Hi,
so
Sue.
I finally thought, okay, I'm going to send it out to you. I just like sending you little things that when I think about you, I get them for you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Okay, so let's see. No, I'll actually get it framed and I'll put it up on the wall or something.
I thought you could put it in your studio. So.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So at any rate, did you want to talk about anything or?
Yes, I have to tell you guys really quick before we bring Jeanna and Vicky on about the show. So the story is this. It's called Knock Knock Ghost. And I found it on Amazon Prime a couple of years ago. And it's originally on a channel in Canada called Out TV. And we don't get Out TV here. But it was first and second season was on Amazon Prime. And I loved it. It's very funny. It's a comedian host and then a transgender assistant. And they always have a psychic with them. And they go to all these haunted places in Canada and they do investigations. But it's not just a ghost show, which, by the way, they do get really cool evidence. It's not just a ghost show, but it's also kind of funny and cheesy and goofy at the same time. And I just love it. Well, season 3 was done and it wasn't on Amazon Prime, and I was so disappointed because I couldn't find it on YouTube, nowhere. Yesterday morning I come downstairs for a little break after doing some work, and don't I put my Discovery Plus on, and there are all 3 seasons of Knock Knock Ghost. So it's on Discovery Plus. I binge watched it yesterday. I did like 5 episodes yesterday. I have like 2.5 episodes left for season 3. I can't wait. And I just recommend it to everybody. It's so cheesy and so funny, but it's actually really it's a low budget show, but it's really funny and really good. So I just highly recommend it. Discovery Plus, Knock Knock Ghost.
If they watch this, they know what a low budget show is. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
So let's do this. We're very happy to have these 2 people here tonight. First of all, I'm going to introduce my sister.
Okay.
I've known her longer. And she has certain powers that I have to be afraid of. So this is my sister, Vicky Hackbarth.
Hi, Vicky.
Yes, be very afraid of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then our real guest tonight, because Vicky's
our real guest.
Not necessarily a guest that we're going to interview. She's actually part of our panel tonight.
Right.
So she's going to be here to actually ask questions of Jeanna as well. Multidimensional spirit communicator, energy healer, activator, channel, earth healer, animal communicator. What doesn't she do? Jeanna Koch is here. Hi, Jeanna.
Hi, Jeanna.
Hi, guys. Hello. Thank you guys for having me. It's wonderful to be here. And thank you, Vicky, for coming and having my back on this one, too. So thank you guys very much. Thanks.
Yeah, if you look at those 2, don't you see trouble in their eyes?
I know. Come on.
Oh.
So Jeanna, let's start off by just saying that's one heck of a title there. There's a lot of things that you're gifted with.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about that. Let's start like we do with a lot of our guests and just kind of go back, Jeanna, and talk a little bit about your journey. How did you get from, I guess, realizing that you had some gifts to where you are today?
Okay. Yeah. For my journey, it actually started in 2012. And it started with medical issues, which most people don't start with, but for me, it was a medical issue. It wasn't an issue, at least until I realized it. I had gone in to just get a routine physical exam from my doctor. They did some blood work as usual on me. Everything else was fine. And they came back and said that, oh, well, you have liver issues. Your liver is really high enzymes. I had no clue. I felt fine. So they said, well, maybe it's something wrong with, just our blood test. Come back in a month. We'll check it again. Came back in a month, higher yet. So they started sending me to different doctors. Long story short, I went through 5 different specialists. I had every test that they could figure. Everything came back negative. Everything came back normal. They didn't know what to do with me. So they basically gave me 6 months to live. I was 43 at the time, feeling totally fine, but they said my liver was just quickly crashing. So a friend of mine actually ended up saying, well, I have a homeopath. I'm going to send you to the homeopath. None of the specialists have anything to help you with. So they sent me to the homeopath, and within like 5 minutes on the phone, she's like, oh, you don't have any of these diseases. You don't have any of these issues. It's just toxins in your liver. It's just the food you're eating. I thought I ate really well. I hate good fruits, vegetables, whole wheat bread and all that kind of stuff. But then it just made me realize there's a lot of toxins like in the food and stuff. So she said, go organic, go gluten-free. I'll see you in a month. We'll start detoxing your liver. So I did go to see her, and I started just on holistic, just naturopath medicine, all organic food, fruits, vegetables. Oh, sorry, there's my kid Casey.
That's all right.
Surprise guest. So I just started doing all of that and just changed my diet, just the way I ate. Went to all organic stuff, went gluten-free, dairy-free. And she just got me on some supplements, got my liver detoxed, and went back to the doctor 2 months later for a blood test. And my liver values started going down. So that was really just kind of an eye-opener. I just stuck with her, kept doing that. But that was my first real kind of aha moment. And that was in 2012 when a lot of people started shifting. A lot of people started opening up. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. But that was my first kind of aha thing, like, wow, okay, modern medicine isn't what I thought it was. Once I got into the holistic stuff, I realized there was a lot more to it. And I started doing more research on organic food, supplements. That just led me down to, sound therapy, oils, plant medicine, and I kept going and going. I ended up going to shamanic healing, got a little bit into that, some shamanic healers. At that time, my sister-in-law came out to the family and said that she was a medium in hiding. So she started doing practice readings for us. So that kind of introduced me to spirit guides and loved ones and things like that. So that kind of opened my whole senses up to that whole aspect, that there was others out there, that there was angels, and that opened up my spiritual side a little bit.
So for me, that's kind of where I'm at in my life. Like, I realize it's there. I've kind of started to realize I've got a few things going on for me. How do you go from that point in 2012 to 9 years later, if my math is correct, and I can't say that it is, but I'm going to guess that it is. How do you go from that to being a healer, to being, working on people's past lives, communicating with animals? How do you do that?
Well, in 2014, then once I realized I had spirit guides, I was just talking to them out loud, and I'd be like, okay, guys, like I always knew in me that I was an empath. That thing I always knew. Once I heard what an empath was, how you could feel people's emotions. I've known I've always been an empath all my life. So that didn't surprise me when I found out that aspect. But what it led me to then, once I realized through my sister-in-law that there were spirit guides, I started asking them, okay, what's my purpose work? Why am I actually here? And in 2014, I just happened to be walking down the road, and I just said to my guides, okay, why am I actually here? Give me a sign. What am I supposed to be doing? I've been a veterinary technician all my life, so I've always had that animal connection, but I knew there was a bigger purpose to my life. And at that second, they literally gave me video clips of like little movie clips of me in the future, healing animals, doing energy healing, doing animal communication, working with other people, which now I know are light workers, helping them find their path, being a speaker. for animals, and just traveling around the world, working with elephants. That was the thing that really got me, working with baby elephants. I saw a flash of myself working with baby elephants and baby rhinos that were orphaned when their moms and siblings and herd were shot by poachers. And I was doing animal communication to calm them and then energy healing. So after I picked myself up off the side of the road, because as soon as I saw that, obviously I knew my soul connected immediately. And I'm like, my God, that's me. I'm in the future. I'm a little older, but this is actually me doing this stuff. I came home, I got on the computer and I said, okay, you guys showed me that. Where do I need to start with this? They immediately popped up an animal communication class and an energy healing class with Deborah King. And I started taking those. And that is what just opened me up. So then I started just doing animal communication, energy healing. And then I'd be like, okay, guides, what do I need to read now? And I was reading books and doing courses and listening to other people talking. So my first time I actually opened up and spoke to an animal, it was an animal, it was a horse, was in 2016. And that's the first time I actually did something myself. I spoke to a horse in my animal communication class. And after that, it was just practice. The more I did, and my teacher even said, you're going to be talking to more than animals. You're going to be doing a lot more. Trust your guidance and just follow your guidance and see where you go. And she was right. The more practice sessions I did doing animal communication, all of a sudden people's loved ones were coming in, and then spirit guides, and then master healers and archangels and dragons and elementals. And it just went on from there.
So do you think, and I'm sorry, Sandy, for interrupting.
No,
I know
okay.
this is your round, but so do you think when you started to actually communicate with your spirit guides, that's when it kind of ballooned up after that?
That really helped me. Yeah. When I started connecting with them and talking to them and asking them for help, rather than walking around kind of blindly trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be going or what I'm supposed to be doing. As soon as I realized I had guides and I could ask them questions, and they would listen to me and bring stuff up on my computer or bring people into my life that I needed to connect with. Like Vicky, they brought Vicky into my life and she got me here, and I'm talking to you guys now and helping to spread the word that everyone does have spirit guides. That really was the big thing that kind of helped me. But if I can do it, I mean, I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, I've been talking to fairies and dogs and cats and everything and seeing all my guides since I was a little kid. It wasn't like that for me. They purposely shut me down, basically. The only thing I was an empath. But after I realized that and had that vision, I started slowly opening up all my gifts to where I am now. And there's still more to open. They keep telling me you're just not ready for the next steps. But you have to start somewhere. Yeah.
So Jeanna, is this something, again, just to kind of reiterate that, is this something that anybody really can learn to do if they open themselves up enough?
Anybody can learn to do this stuff. In different levels, of course, you know, everyone has their high point. Like we can all play the piano. Well, I don't play the piano very well, but I can play it. But other people, that's their talent. So everyone is gifted, though. We're all gifted, every single person. And we can all do many, many different things, not just one special thing. But yeah, we all have the gifts.
And when you communicate with your spirit guides, for example, or as in our session, when you're seeing and communicating with my spirit guides, my team, do you actually see them in front of you? Or do you hear them? How does that come to you?
It comes through me when I get into a session with somebody. I usually take about 5 minutes and I go into a meditation. I just put protection around me. I put protection around the person that I'm working with. I get out of my head. I get into my heart space. I ask my lower ego self to just step out so it doesn't interfere at all. And then I ask the person's team to step in, their spirit guides, whoever wants to come in, the master healers, archangels. I work with them a lot, loved ones, animals, ancestors, and whoever wants to come in and give this person messages, do energy healing. Because I am a healer, they just automatically get healing through their team. Then my energy connects with that person's energy. And then I connect in with all the guides that step in. So they can be from 3rd dimension all the way up to 22nd dimension. I hold that space. I'm like an amplifier. So the person that I'm talking to can feel the energy too. And then I can see them. It's in my 3rd eye though, when I see them. So I can feel the energy. I can see physically the energy signatures where everyone is, but then I see them through my 3rd eye. They give me feelings and sensations throughout my body as they're working and healing that person. So I know what we have to work on. I see the person, if they flash something, like they usually show me the chakras, and they'll show me the different colors. And then they also show me, like, if someone has stuck energy, they'll actually highlight different body parts where the energy is stuck. And then I'm also hearing things at the same time. So I've got a million things going on at once. And now I know why my team didn't just, because once I found out, oh, you're going to be doing this, I'm like, I want to do it all right now. Let's do it right now. And they're like, no. But now I realize, because there's so much going on, if they would have flipped that switch and turned everything on, it would have been too much. I would have been overwhelmed and freaked out and probably shut it all right back down. So it usually comes with people in stages. They don't want to freak people out. So,
and I know that when we were talking, we were going to just do a half hour. We ended up with a long session, but so much information was coming to you.
Yeah.
That it was hard for you to even keep up with it, because it was just boom, 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 one thing after another, one thing after another. And I was just amazed by it. So how did you and Vicky meet? How did you two get together?
Vicky came to me to have a session. So that's how I met Vicky. My spirit guides bring everyone in. So if someone feels the nudge, there's a reason they're supposed to connect with me. They're ready to up to that next level. There's something blocking them physical. I also work with a functional medicine doctor. So if her patients, and a couple psychologists too, so if their patients are stuck physically with something and they can't get them through medications getting better, they send them to me for an energy healing, because it's usually an energy blockage, which can be something in this lifetime, a past life, either on world, off world, or something else interfering. There can be dark energies affecting them, or all sorts of things. I never know. So it keeps the sessions really interesting. Yeah.
One of the things that when we had our sessions with you that you did was taking some of the ties that are things that are tied to us, that are linked to us, and you got rid of some of those, and you had our spirit guides help with that. Can you explain a little bit about how past lives correspond with that, how those things become attached to us and why they become attached to us?
From a past lives point?
Yeah.
Yes. Past lives, they're usually, if you have a past life, everyone, where should I start here? Let me just start from the beginning. I'm just listening to my guides too. So if you see me kind of zoning out here a little bit, I can hear them talking too. Everyone on the other side. So we're all here on Earth. Earth is a teaching school. It's a place where we come as souls to learn things, to come into a body, a physical form. On the other side, you don't have to be in any type of form. We're normally buzzing around like souls. We're souls, just energy balls. My husband has had an out-of-body experience where he was thrown out of his body, and he got to experience that love, that light, and he was just a ball of energy. And he said it's just beyond, and I've heard other people and others, souls tell me this too, beyond anything we have here on Earth. So when we want to raise our vibration and get to a kind of a higher level, there's different type of energy levels. We have to incarnate either here on Earth or you can incarnate on a different planet. So you come onto Earth after you go to the Akashic Records, which is the Earth's record library of all your lifetimes on Earth. The halls of Amenti are the giant library for basically all the planets in the cosmos and stuff, where you can go to. So you go to the Akashic Records, you sit down with one of the record keepers, you make a blueprint of your life, what you want to do, what lessons you want to do. Do you want to have cancer? Do you want to have a physical issue? Do you want to have family problems? Do you want to have relationship issues? Whatever it is, whatever lesson, you come and you sit down, and it's lower vibrating, because on the other side, like I said, it's all love, it's all light, peace, happiness. So in order to experience that, we have to come onto Earth or somewhere else where there's something lower. So we kind of map out our life blueprint. We decide where we're going to go, what we're going to do, and then we ask our other friends and family who wants to come with us, who wants to be our mom, dad, parents, sisters, brothers, whoever. And then whoever doesn't want to come back, that is your spirit guide. So that kind of gives you an idea. So they know where you've been, where you're at right now, and where you're going. And that's why it's really good for anyone to always ask your guides, either out loud or in your head, for help. They're always there. They're really wanting me to make that clear. So they wanted me to pop that in for whoever's listening. Talk to your guides all the time. They're more than happy to help you, because when we come onto Earth, we have free will choice. So they're standing there, they're waiting to help everybody, but unless you ask them specifically, their hands are kind of tied. So then when you decide to come on Earth and learn your lesson, you go through it. Hopefully you learn your lesson. If it was like a family issue, or you came back and wanted to experience an addiction and you became an alcoholic, and then your lesson was to learn that family is, and your own personal health is more important than the alcohol. So hopefully you kicked it and you learn that lesson, and it's kind of like a check in the box, lesson learned. If you don't learn that lesson and decided, well, alcohol is going to assume my life, I'm going to just forget about my family, and then you don't learn the lesson, you can have to come back then. It's like you never completed that lesson. It's like homework, basically like homework. So if you don't learn that lesson completely, you still are kind of corded to that past life. And sometimes we come back over and over and over again, either with the same family or different people, and keep doing the lesson until you finally learn it and can kind of complete that. Because you have a list usually of things that you want to complete and different things you want to learn. So once you get that kind of check in the box, you can move on. If you don't, it can get thrown back into your face and you come back over and over again. So a lot of times, especially now, we're getting a lot of these past lives thrown up in our face. Sometimes it's really obvious, and you just need to go in to finish the lesson, to clear it. And then it's like, once you clear that lesson and let it go, everything starts shifting in your life in a different direction.
Jeanna, you told me that Todd and I shared 28 different lives together, and we're very, very connected.
Vicki, will you help me on this, please?
Vicki thinks so too. No, is there a specific reason why people would come back in that many times together, or more times than even that? Is there a specific reason why they would come back together? It may be different roles in each lifetime, but come back together.
If you're in the same monad group, or if you're really good friends on the other side, you might want to come back together. It's not uncommon for souls that are close on the other side to come back to just help each other out and play different roles. Sometimes they're there to support you. Sometimes they play the good guy. Sometimes they play the bad guy. Life on Earth here, it's kind of like, it reminds me watching it like we're all on a TV show. We all come back with our little scripts, and we're just basically going along and doing our little script. That's kind of what it's like to me. Once they start pulling the veil back and you see what it's like really on the other side, it's like I told you guys, it's like the Matrix, Harry Potter, and Star Wars all kind of going on at the same time. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, we're here just kind of playing our roles and trying to learn our lessons, because once you learn them, it's like you get that ascension. You go up that next rung on the ascension ladder. You just get more energy, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just more knowledge. I mean, there isn't any lower vibrating energies just usually floating around on the other side. So you have to come back somewhere and just learn something. I don't know. Does that make sense? I know my guides have me just rambling sometimes. So
no, it actually does. And it was a good reminder, because those are things that you spoke to me about in our session. And again, I didn't have enough time to really process it. There was so much information, but now it makes sense that this is kind of like our school. This is like a classroom, or this is like one semester, you know, and there are many more semesters to come.
Yeah.
I know Vicki's got questions about cutting ties and stuff like that. I want to ask about raising your vibration. What does that mean exactly? Because I've been told that I have a very low vibration. It's very grounded, blah, blah, blah. I am the bubble popper kind of guy. You know, I am that person. How does one raise their vibration?
You do have really grounding energy. That's not a bad thing. Being grounded onto the earth is really a good thing. So that's not a bad thing at all. It's just self-love, bringing self-love in. When you're always looking at the negative aspect, you're always looking at that. You want to stay away from the negative aspect. The easiest way to help raise your vibration is trying to stay positive, trying to keep out of your head, because when you're in your head, your ego gets in, and your ego is usually the loudest voice in your head. Your ego tends to just talk nonstop, really loud, and gets you doing crazy stuff. Your ego is your shadow side. Every one of us has that yin yang, that shadow side, the light side. Our ego is literally our shadow side. So you don't want your ego always talking loudly. Like I said, I have my ego just take a time out when I'm doing a session, or if I'm trying to stay positive, I'll just tell my ego to take a time out. Raising your vibration is all about, though, bringing self-love in too, just always staying positive. So getting out of your head, dropping in your heart, bringing more love into yourself. And I know a lot of times those past lives will make it really difficult because you're still trying to process anger or blame or self-doubt or something that you had from other lifetimes that comes up and kind of blocks you from fully stepping into your full worthiness and that love for self. I know crystals right now, if you're really struggling, always having crystals on you, around you. I mean, I've got crystals everywhere. I've got them all over. I'm always having them in my pockets. I've got like skulls and dragons made of all different kinds of stuff sitting around here. My husband just complains he can't even sit next to me here on this love the whole other side here next to me, full of crystals. But having just high vibrational stuff on you can help too when you're trying to shift that energy. Clear quartz is a really good one. Help me out here, Vicki. There's so many different ones. Amethyst is a really good one too. Anything light colored, anything like that, just having it in your aura will help raise your vibration, will help get rid of, what is the other one here? The rose quartz is really a good one for your heart, for raising that vibration, for bringing the love in, for getting you higher to a higher dimension. But watching what you say about yourself, Todd, is probably like the first thing. I hated myself. I didn't realize that. Part of my anger too was not only when my liver was shutting down, it was not only the food and toxins that I was putting in my body, the food I thought I was good, the pollution that we're eating in our food all the time, but it was toxins for myself too. Negative toxins, like talking negative about myself. And somebody pointed out and said, do you realize that when someone tries to give you a compliment, you totally shut them down and say something negative about yourself instead? And I didn't realize that until I started keeping track of how many times I actually said something negative about myself. And it was like 50 times. I put like 50 checks one day on a little piece of paper. And I was like, wow, I really have to work on loving myself. So it was talking to my guides and calling in my angels and keeping rose quartz and other crystals on me to help me just realize that too. And that helped me really raise my self-awareness and bring more love into myself. And that raised my vibration too. Having Reiki sessions done, working with, someone like me or even a medium to talk to, to help you realize where's the energy stuck. Because a lot of times it's not just something you can do. A lot of times it will be these past lives. And I know you and I, Todd, talked about that with some of your stuff too, that it was really blocking you. You can only get to such a point. You want to get more positive, but there's this little aspect of yourself. It's almost like attacking you and trying to keep you in the negative.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to change my name to Todd Negative Nelly Michaels is what I'm going to basically do.
No.
No. He won't let you.
And I actually appreciate you getting us back on track, because I try to jump out a little bit and talk more about like things that are tied to you, whether it's other people or other energies or whatever. Mm-hmm. How does that happen over time?
That can happen at any time. Energetic hoarding is a big one. That happens it can happen past lives or especially in this lifetime. People just start courting each other, especially in family. That was one of the biggest things for me. I hate to say that, but I had very toxic family members and there's some very toxic friends. People that I'd known forever since I was a little kid, and everyone's like, oh, well, they're family, so they can be mean to you. They can say horrible things and make you cry. That's okay, they're family. And I'm like, why is that okay? And I finally realized they're not helping me. It's like they're an anchor dragging me down, and not letting me rise my vibration higher. They didn't want me to feel good about myself. They liked having me being like a doormat. So once I realized that, I started having the archangel. I usually call on Archangel Michael to help me cut any cording between myself and friends or family, because when you're corded, it's literally like having electrical cords plugged in from your chakras directly into that person's chakra. And if they're having a bad day, especially if you're an empath, and I know we talked about this, you have to make sure you don't have anyone else plugged into you, because if they're feeling horrible, you're going to be feeling horrible too. I mean, if we're all happy and in love all the time, that would be great. But you know what it's like out there. It's kind of crazy right now with everything going on. So I just will ask Archangel Michael, if my guides keep bringing someone in my face, or I go and visit somebody and all of a sudden I'm crying or I'm really upset, I'm like, okay, I'm corded to them. I just ask Archangel Michael to come in and cut any negative cords between myself and that person. And that helps tremendously to raise your vibration, just doing that, because a lot of times you don't even realize how they're dragging you down until you do that. And it does help you raise your vibration and feel lighter. So.
Well, and I know, Vicki, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it, was that was a question that you specifically had for tonight's panel.
Yeah, my question was, if you've cleared a past life, can it come back and need more healing? So can it reattach a past life?
That's a good question. If it's not completely healed, yes, it can come back and reattach to you. If there's still an aspect of it, or if someone else that you're in contact with in this lifetime hasn't fully healed their side of it completely, it might come back up in your face for you to feel more into and be like, why is this still affecting me? Why is this person still bothering me? And then you might have to go in. They might not get it. They might not be awake and spiritual and be able to talk like we are, but you can always talk to their higher self and call in their higher self and their spirit guides and ask them to please help you shift whatever that person needs help with, so that you can detach from that and move forward in your life. And in doing so, it will help that other person too. So yeah, that's what I'm getting from them.
Very interesting.
Can I ask part 2 to that?
Mm-hmm.
So can you cut a cord from somebody that you have a contract with in this lifetime? So I'm talking specifically about my dad, where I'm power of attorney, but I know that my dad is a character that we have cut cords with.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have in one of our healing sessions. That cord keeps reattaching to me and I keep cutting it, but I wonder if it's because I have this contract with my dad to be his power of attorney in this lifetime, and that's why he keeps reattaching.
Well, you can still work with someone without any cords. Is he coming to you in dreams? Because a lot of times people will record you in dream time. If they have ill health and you're feeling bad for them and you kind of put your shields down, they can reattach cords to you, especially to your back. That can happen. So you can still work with them without being corded. I was just checking with your team really quick to see what's going on. I just feel they just keep showing me that you're kind of lowering your shields. It's almost like you're feeling sorry for him and he's just reattaching back onto you.
Okay.
Not in a mean way, but I think he's just reaching out because he's worried he's going to lose you somehow. And sometimes people will try to record you, especially if they're using your solar plexus, your power center. If they're using you like a battery, a lot of times, and they don't know they're usually doing this consciously, it's usually subconscious, they can try to reattach to you. Especially loved ones who feel like they're alone will try to attach to you in that way, and they don't even realize it. So he just keep having to detach those. If you're dreaming about someone, I usually have Archangel Michael come in and just be like, okay, can you just check to make sure there's no hooks or cords that they reattached into me? Or if you have a real emotional day, just detach anything, because usually you'll just, as a healer, we can't help it. We just reach out automatically to these people and try to heal them without, and then it's like, oh, wait, I just corded myself to them. Okay, now I got to cut my cords. I know even when I'm working with clients, I always have to make sure I cut everything after. If they're really struggling, I can feel myself reaching out to them too. So I just have to make sure I cut that. Yeah.
Okay. That helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Jeanna, you mentioned earlier the year 2012, and you sort of alluded to the idea that people started to open up a little bit more back then. What did you actually mean by that? Do you mean everybody as a whole? We started to become a little more enlightened?
Yes, everybody as a whole started really awakening in 2012 because the Earth is going through a whole ascension process right now. 2012 was a big time when this has been planned out for millennia on the other side, that Mother Earth was supposed to go through an ascension. So we're right now going from third dimensional energy up to fifth dimensional energy. And 2012 was a big point. I know the Mayan calendars and stuff all shifted. I know the energies started shifting, and that's when we started noticing climate change. And that's just basically Mother Earth, who has chakras just like we do, is trying to cleanse and clear all her chakras using the elements that she has at hand. And we're going through that right now. We are right on the cusp of literally switching into fifth dimensional energy. And then from there, just going up. And once that hits, there's like a wave of love and light they keep showing me is going to be coming through the planet. And it's literally going to be waking everyone up on some level. So
it's interesting. It was just interesting that you said that, because it kind of caught my attention, because in 2012, I got really sick. I almost died. And I sort of half jokingly refer to my life as pre-2012 and post-2012. And things really, after that happened to me, that event, things really changed in my life. So I did almost have sort of an awakening and an enlightenment, and things changed for me in my life. And I started to look at life a little bit differently. So I thought that was super, super interesting.
Yeah.
A couple of other questions, a couple of terms during my reading, my session that we talked about were light worker and healer, exactly what a healer is, and then Claire Huxtable. I was waiting for Claire to show up.
She is looking at you. You look at that. Look at that look on her face. She is just giving you that look.
Claire, and what was the word that you used for knowing? Claire
Gnostic?
Gnostic, yes. Could you just briefly describe a few of those terms for us, just so everybody kind of has an idea of what those are?
Okay, what was the first one you had asked?
Light worker.
Light worker, anyone who is working with the light. So that would, to me, that means divine source, divine mother, divine father, creator, God, whatever term you feel comfortable with using. That is someone who works directly with divine, I call it divine source, and working in that light. You're pure, you're light, you're working in your heart. You're not working on the dark side. You're not in the shadow. You're not doing what people call evil. You're definitely a light worker. We're here to spread our light. We're here to be in our hearts. We're here to spread this light and love throughout all of humanity, onto the earth, the animals, and everything. And we're here to really, a lot of light workers are also star seeds and the way showers, the pioneer souls. I mean, anyone who's watching the podcast with us right now, they are one of these people, or they wouldn't be attracted to you guys. You guys all have that energy, and Vicky too. You guys all have that energy. We all have that, carry that energy. That's why we're awakened first, basically. That's why 2012 or around that time, things started shifting for us, whether we actually knew it or not. Things started opening up, and there was some kind of knock on the door like, hey, there's more going on in here. You guys came back for a higher purpose. So everyone that's waking up right now and able to talk like we are, we're kind of ahead of the rest of the pack, or whatever you want to call it. And we are waking up because we are all master souls. We've had hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes here on Earth. We've come back now to kind of tidy up our past lives, to clear ourselves of anything that's stuck or blocking us, to open up our gifts more fully, and to be basically the pioneers and way showers and teachers, healers, and whatever else we're meant to be, our purpose work, basically, going forward. So we're waking up ahead of them to clear all our stuff and get more organized in what we're here to do. So when we have this wave of light that comes through and everyone wakes up on a mass scale, we have a lot of the answers that they will be seeking, because they will just be newly awakened like we were years ago. and we'll be able to be like, hey, we know where you guys are at. Here's some information. Here's some people that can help you. This is what you're here to do. And you can start helping them. So kind of in a nutshell, that's what a light worker is. Healer, that's anyone. Most people are healers in one way or another, whether you're using Reiki energy or some other divine source energy to heal, whether you're using plants, herbs, crystals, whether you're using acupuncture, whether you're using oils or sound therapy. That's all different forms of healing. So a healer can be many, many, many things. Just depends what you're drawn to. A healer is even someone who's just talking to someone who listens to them. So really, most of us are really healers on some level.
Right.
What was the other?
Clairgnostic.
Clairgnostic, it's your knowing, your inner knowing. Our guides love to drop stuff into our heads. That's when you're just kind of wandering along. You might be driving in the car, especially. They love to do it. Or if I'm doing dishes and I'm really not thinking of anything, and all of a sudden just a random thought or a picture or something pops in your head, and it's like, well, wait a minute, where did that just come from? That is your inner knowing, your clairgnostic. That is your spirit guides and teams or a loved one dropping a thought or image into you to get your attention. That's just, don't poo-poo those things. That is something that your team is trying to get your attention with. So, yeah.
And how many people, so my team, I can't remember the exact number that you said total my team is, but I think 26 of them came forward. Mm-hmm. They don't all have to come forward during a session, right? Just the ones that are interested in coming forward.
Yeah, just the ones. Most people have pretty big spirit teams, but usually just the ones that want to be kind of recognized and have either will do healing on you or give you information or knowledge will come forward at that time. But yeah, most of us have pretty big groups of spirit guides that are out there.
Do they all have a purpose? Does each one have its own different purpose?
They each have purposes. Some of them are here to just maybe work with you with a very, like if you're sick, one of them may be here just to help you through that sickness. Some of our ancestors that come through maybe are just coming through to remind you, hey, remember we did this back in this past life. You were a shaman. Here, let me get you reconnected to the earth. Let me introduce you to crystals. So some of them might be here just a couple weeks. Some of them might be here months. Some of them are here from your birth to your death time. So it's different for everyone. So that's why when everyone says, well, who's here and who do I call on? And I usually say, just say spirit guides or team, because you never know which one needs to step forward. And that way, whoever needs to come forward, I mean, they're always there. They're always watching us. They're always around us. They're listening to us. I know, when I'm in the shower, I used to be like, oh my gosh, how many people are looking at me right now? And it was kind of weird. And they would now they just laugh at me and go, really, we don't really care. But yeah, we're here. We're here. Just if you slip, we're here. We're going to help you. Don't worry about it. We're not worried that we're seeing you naked or anything. It's okay.
That's just fascinating to me that you could have them coming in and out of your life. They can come for short periods of time, because we sort of experience that here on Earth, that some people come into your life for your entire lifetime. Some people are only here for a short amount of time, all different types of, all different lengths of time in your life, and each has its own purpose in your life. So exactly. I find that so interesting that your team actually does sort of the same thing, but on the other side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
Jeanna, for lay people who, like me, kind of getting started, I'm really where you were at when you were sick. There's a lot of very interesting connections between your story and where I'm at right now in life. And where does someone like me, who has beliefs in this, who has had experiences, who wants to know more, but always requires proof, right? I got to have the proof. Otherwise,
You're like my husband. I understand.
Yep. How can I start my journey? What's the next step for me? I know I should ask my spirit guides, but you're with me right now, so I'll ask you.
For you, the easiest thing really is to ask your guides. And like I said, I tell most people that ask your guides, grab your phone, get your Google out and ask them what you should be doing. Just asking them to bring the people into your life. For you, they keep talking about the people you're going to be meeting on your show. I know are really going to be very inspirational for you. You know, anytime you're looking for books, I always tell people that, and they're doing that again, they're flashing up Amazon. Go to Amazon, call in your team and say, okay, what should I be reading on the spiritual side? Stuff will literally like almost jump off of your Amazon, Google, you know, on the phone as you're looking at it. They will bring people into your life. They keep talking for you, Todd, about getting into other groups. So I don't know if you have other groups in your area that you can go to and be in like a circle of people to talk about the different experiences, because everyone experiences things differently. I have some people who are really into the fairies and elementals. I have some that are really talking to their star beings. Some are really into the mediumship and spirits and ghosts and things like that. There's more and more circles in our area. I know I run once a month. I have a healing, we call it a healing and wisdom circle. And I have it in Green Bay. In fact, ours is coming up this weekend on the 24th. It's at the Richard Mothy Center. It's open to any spiritually like-minded people that want to come in, that want to learn. We usually have about 25, 30 people. They're all at different stages in their opening. So we just usually talk the first half hour or so. It's from 2 to 4. And we'll talk usually the first hour or so about how everyone's doing, where they're at. If anyone has stuck energy, you know, there's so many healers that come there. So we can just do hands-on work and help you release something, or just talking about different experiences. And then we usually have a big gathering where we just kind of bring our energy together and send it wherever we need to. If you have a loved one that needs help, or you need healing, we connect you in and get you healing. We send it around the world to animals and places. So it's really informative. And then we also keep track of like who's got events coming up where you can meet and new people and new healing centers. And like Vicki, you know, starting your thing, that's amazing, you know, with your healing. I mean, we encourage people to come in, and this month we're doing sound healing. So we're telling people to bring, you know, sound therapy, and we'll just play around with that. You know, next month we're going to work on our mediumship. So different groups like that, there's more popping up. So check it out. There's always something in many areas. And now that people are getting back together, that's really helpful too. Plus there's so many online things. I mean, asking your team, believe me, they will bring stuff up that you'll be like, whoa, I've never seen this before. Well, guess what? Your team's bringing you into this group that you could do, you know, check out even, you know, virtually. So there's a lot of different things.
Vicki, I'm guessing you're going.
I asked you if you would go with me.
I don't remember that. No, I don't. You know,
yeah, I did.
You know, my mind, it went past my ear canal, and that was about it. That's as far as it kind of went. So
we have several guys that go, Todd, you won't be the only one. My husband's there.
Yeah. So see, now I'm going to hang out with him, and we're going to sit there, and we're just going to, you know, we'll scream out, prove it. That's what we'll be doing. Now, Vicki, I know you had some questions on your list that you wanted to ask too. So,
actually, I thought of one as Jeanna was talking. When you talk about this mass awakening, what kind of time frame are we looking at? Because I look at the Reiki healers in the area that, you know, I live in, and we are struggling to find people to heal. They're just not walking through the door. So what kind of time frame are we looking at for that mass awakening?
Archangel Michael has been telling me it can happen anytime. They've seen it happen already on their side, because on Earth we always have that time, the past, present, future. On the other side, there's no time. It's not linear time like we see it. It's past, present, future is happening all the time. So they've said it's already happened here on Earth. They watched us go through it. So they haven't given me any dates. They just keep saying anytime now. I really feel like it's going to happen sometime between now and sometime in January. And they keep saying everyone will know. It's going to be just, things will shift. We'll feel the energy. We might even have some blackouts here or there. Nothing major, just a day or two, but something to get our attention and just let us know what's happening. So once that happens, everyone's going to start waking up on some level and go, wait a minute, I'm here to do something else. How do I get there? What do I do? So I'm really hoping it could happen tonight. That would be amazing. I would love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, that just makes me think too, you guys, about the pandemic and everything, and the lessons that hopefully a lot of people have learned from the pandemic.
Yeah.
Are events like that sort of pre-planned as far as sort of teaching us things and things happen for a reason? I don't think anybody saw the pandemic coming to the extent that it did, but is
No.
it, even if it's smaller stuff, do those kinds of things happen to us really truly for a reason, to teach us things?
A lot of stuff does. Usually I've really learned over the years, there's no such thing as any coincidence. Something happens always for a reason. The pandemic, it wasn't originally planned by anything light. I can tell you that. That was all
Right.
dark energy. But what happened that was good was everyone got to stay home. They got to experience things a different way. And they really got to dig deep and feel into how they were feeling and shift things and look at their family dynamics. So it actually gave people more time to heal. And actually it sped up their awakening a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you actually had time to sit still. Where we're not always running around, we actually had to sit and just be still, which we're not used to doing as a race. So
when I think of myself a year and a half ago as opposed to the person I am today, a lot of things have changed for me. And I've kind of put my priorities, learned what my priorities truly are, and sort of lifted those up. And it completely changed. I just learned so much from this. So as bad as it was, I think you're right. I think it came from a place of darkness, but truly for some people, not all, but some people, it really turned into an event of light and learning.
Definitely.
So, very interesting.
Yeah.
So we spent this episode talking a lot about past lives and about your journey and a little bit about some of the questions we have. I've got like one final question really for you this time around, Jeanna, and that is, would you please come back
Yes.
and talk so much more about everything else there is to talk about?
I would love to come back. You guys are awesome. Your energy is just amazing. It really is. I do see you guys having a TV show someday. I hope
Well, I better get on a diet real fast and lose about 20 pounds. Because if the TV adds 10, I'm in big trouble. Let me just say that right now.
No, we would definitely love it. Thank you. We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jeanna Koch. So we're going to have all the stuff in our show notes. So you'll be able to see where you can contact her, her Facebook page, all that kind of stuff as well. One of her email addresses that you can contact her at is right there. I do know that and we had some information on this. We had some issues. Facebook was having issues tonight with our stream kind of freezing up and all that kind of stuff. But people moved over to our YouTube stream and we're watching from there, which is good news. And of course, this isn't going away. It's going to be up for eternity. So more people will be able to reach out and actually see it. So I mean it, Jeanna, it's wonderful to see your face and talk to you one-on-one. I appreciate the session that you gave to us. It was wonderful.
It was.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's my honor, really. You have amazing teams. You guys have amazing energy. I can't wait to see when you really start opening up that next level because you guys have some really good gifts.
So how can I cut ties with this one right over here? How can I get rid of that thing so that, in the next lifetime when I come back,
that thing, he just said that thing.
when time comes, I can come back and be free. I can be free.
That cord is pretty strong, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Trust me. I've tried to break that. It's not going anywhere. So
you guys would be lost without each other. Come on now.
That's true.
Doesn't feel good. Vicki, thanks for being on with us tonight.
Vicki,
I appreciate you coming back.
Thank you very much.
You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right with you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Vicki Hackbarth, Jeanna Koch, thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh my gosh, what a great hour that was.
That was an hour. I mean, it felt like 15 minutes.
I know. And I have so many more questions. So I'm so glad she agreed to come back. I have a lot of questions.
I think the thing for me is, and I will admit this, and my sister and I were having this conversation prior to the broadcast, and that was, I need more guidance. Like I'm just too non-knowing and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to make an effort now to reach out to my spirit guides and see what they have to say.
I have been ever since, and I'm very much like you in that I feel like a child in this journey. I feel like I am a toddler in this journey because I didn't really know or understand anything about myself truly until maybe 2-3 years ago. And I'm still learning, and I'm still on that journey. So to me, that session was really eye-opening, and I do talk to my spirit guides every day, and I ground myself every morning, and it was because of Jeanna and the advice that she gave me and the things that she told me. And I want to get into sort of the whole idea of crossing over spirits and animal communication and all that kind of stuff when she comes back to visit us again, because there's so many other questions and things that we can learn from her. And she's just amazing. So
I think for me, one of the things that's tough as being a paranormal investigator, and that really where this all started for me, is you have your personal experiences. As an empath, you get certain messages, but then you have all the scientific stuff to back that up. You've got the meters, and you've got the audio, and you got the video. So you can go, well, I experienced this. Oh, look, we've got something that can show that this is actually what took place.
It's really a beautiful thing to be able to have both.
But in this case, we don't have that scientific stuff necessarily to back it up. So that's where for me, it's like
hard.
It's like going on an ice covered lake. You go very slowly so you don't crash through, you know.
And I think you're right. I think that's the thing. You have to take your time, and you can't be a squirrel trying to cross the busy road. You know, which way do I look? Which way do I look? And you're all over the place.
Jeez.
Because you have to, I've learned that I have to concentrate on one thing at a time and kind of soak it all in and learn about it before I can move on to the next thing.
I have a question.
I really want to learn.
I have a question you should ask your spirit guides.
What?
Well, you've got something coming up on Monday that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I know.
I think you should ask them how that's going to come out, how that's going to turn out.
I'm going to. I will.
All right.
I will definitely.
You're going to do it on right here in front of me when the broadcast is done.
Okay,
We're do it.
I will.
Okay,
all right. I will.
Next week, Eric Backlit Ferdinand is going to be on with us, along with Lisa
Wait
Hale.
a minute. I think you were backwards. Eric Ferdinand Backlit.
Maybe. I don't know. Eric's on with us next week, and then Lisa Hale's also on with us next week. She's going to be part of the panel, so we'll have some fun with him. Thanks to everybody who stuck with us through the issues on Facebook. Again, if you do have issues on Facebook, we're always on YouTube as well. And if you missed it live, you can always listen back to it at any time. It'll be part of an audio cast, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, we're always around. You can't miss us.
Eric Ferdinand Backlit. Okay. Until the next broadcast, I would like to say good night to you.
Good night to you. Goodbye.
Bye.